Most people spend their entire lives chasing money without ever knowing what wealth actually looks like. You might think you're rich, but if your bank account stopped tomorrow, you'd be broke by Friday. Wealth isn't a number in a savings account, it's the gap between your lifestyle and your anxiety. Today, we are breaking down the five distinct levels of wealth, from financial instability to total freedom. Let's see exactly where you stand. Level 1 is financial instability. If you are here, you are living in a constant state of panic. You are part of the 56% of Americans who cannot cover a $1,000 emergency with cash. You likely rely on credit cards to bridge the gap between paychecks. Every minor inconvenience, like a flat tire or a broken appliance, turns into a disaster. In 2023, the average household debt in the United States hit over $100,000. If you are at level 1, you are likely part of that statistic. You are working to pay off the past, not to build a future. It is a cycle of exhaustion, and the only goal here is to stop digging the hole deeper. Level 2 is financial solvency. This is the first step toward breathing room. You've stopped the bleeding. You pay your bills on time. You don't rely on high interest debt to buy groceries, and you have enough left over to save. You've moved from reactive survival to basic management. But here is the catch: you are still trapped in the time for money trap. If you stop working for 30 days, your entire life collapses. You have no margin for error. You are solvent, yes, but you are not secure. You are one bad month away from sliding back down to level 1. You have a budget, but you don't yet have choices. Level 3 is financial stability. This is where the game starts to change. You have reached the gold standard of personal finance, the 6-month emergency fund. If you lose your job today, you can maintain your current standard of living for half a year without touching a credit card. You are officially immune to the small emergencies that ruin everyone else's week. You have started investing, perhaps in low-cost index funds like the S&P 500, which has historically returned about 10% annually. You are no longer working for the bills, you are working to grow. Your net worth is finally growing faster than your debt. You have a sense of calm, but you are still likely tied to a desk. You are stable, but you aren't yet free. Level 4 is financial independence. This is the summit that most people dream of. You have achieved the 4% rule. This rule suggests that if you have invested enough money that you can withdraw 4% of it every year to cover your living expenses, you will likely never run out of money. If you spend $50,000 a year, you need a portfolio of $1.25 million. Once you hit this number, your assets work harder than you do. You don't work because you have to, you work because you want to. You have options. You can quit your job, move to a different country, or start a passion project. This is the point where the money stops being a stressor and starts being a tool. Level 5 is financial freedom, or what some call abundance. At this level, your wealth is so large that it is literally impossible to spend it all in your lifetime. You aren't just independent, you are influential. You are focused on legacy, philanthropy, and systemic impact. Figures like Warren Buffett or Bill Gates operate at this level, where the focus shifts from personal consumption to capital allocation and social change. When you are at level 5, you are no longer concerned with price tags or inflation. You are concerned with how your capital can solve problems for other people. You have moved past the need for security and entered the realm of infinite leverage. So, why does this matter? Most people think wealth is about buying a luxury car or a designer watch. That is not wealth, that is consumption. Real wealth is the measure of time you can survive without having to trade your labor for cash. If you are at level 1, your mission is simple: cut the expenses and kill the high interest debt. Do not look at the horizon. Look at your next paycheck. If you are at level 3, your mission is to maximize your contribution to your investments. Stop buying things that depreciate and start buying assets that produce income. The tragic reality is that millions of people reach their 60s and realize they are still stuck at level 2. They have worked for 40 years, yet they are one medical bill away from ruin. Do not let that be you. You do not need to be a millionaire to start climbing. You just need to be honest about where you are right now. Take a hard look at your bank statements. Check your debt to income ratio. Calculate your runway, the number of months you could survive if your income dropped to zero today. Is it 0? Is it 3? Is it 24? The 5 levels aren't meant to make you feel bad about where you are. They are a map. You cannot reach a destination if you refuse to acknowledge your starting point. You might be in debt today. That is a fact, not a character flaw. But staying there, that is a choice. Wealth isn't about what you see in the mirror or what you post on social media. It is about the silence in your head at 3 a.m. when you think about your future. When you reach the higher levels, the noise stops. You gain the one thing money actually buys, the power to say no to anything that doesn't align with your values. So ask yourself one last question. If you continue doing exactly what you did for the last 12 months, will you move up a level, or are you just running in place, waiting for a finish line that you haven't actually defined? The difference between being rich and being wealthy is simple. Rich is what you spend, wealthy is what you keep, and free is what you earn while you sleep. Which level are you going to reach next year?